we have any boos for Barcia? I'm not watching, I'm not listening, but I can see, I saw that he was the last interview of the night. And, you know, Barcia do what Barcia do. Boo this man. Man, what a jam, what a race. What a night. Fantasy, okay, I did okay. Let me know what your guys' scores are. We'll wait for I will wait for the official confirmation that we are locked in and that they're all good before I pull it up and we talk about it. But let me know what your scores are. Tentatively, I'm at 221, which I will take it. Left a lot on the table with Malcolm, as did like 50% of players. But he was the first person. I had him on my team. I put him on the video. Like, I had him on my team from like Wednesday. So I honestly was a little upset he qualified so well because I figured that y'all were just gonna jump on him. Is what it is. But we need people like Bam Bam. Listen, Supercross, motocross would benefit from having pro wrestling personalities, and I would love it if they all embraced their personalities, their archetypes, what have you. We need that stuff. So Bam Bam, we need Bam Bam. We need Anderson tweeting, stirring the pot. Like, we need the calm, cool, quiet Webb assassins. Like, we need those guys. We need all of them. We need Tomac to be the Hulk Hogan, John Cena type. Like, we need that. We need that. And I think the sport would be better. And I know that this would, like, playing into the WWE side, the pro wrestling side, would like illegitimize the sport a little bit. Some people would hate it, but I think that would make the sport even better. So this is better than McElrath winning every weekend. But to be fair, Rich, but McElrath was so likable though. He was so likable though. Like, I'm with you, but if somebody's gonna win every week, I at least want him to be a likable guy. You know what I mean? If we didn't have Bam Bam, it wouldn't be as exciting. Love him or hate him, he's great for the sport. And I'm 100% with you, Jake. 100% with you. Kitchen and Drake got me 164. Moto, rough. Cade and Malcolm got me. I will say, I'm not telling y'all that I told you, but I told you so. I told you, don't be reaching for those high handicap guys. We got a triple crown next weekend. So I'm just saying you were warned. You know what I mean? RJ seems to have turned a new leaf. I will say, I like RJ, and I would love to see RJ keep the pressure on Jet, but Cam and RJ both, and this goes to why I didn't pick them or recommend them in fantasy. Both of those guys don't finish the season. They always have a DNF, at least one. So for me personally, I need to just see them put together an entire season because they've both looked incredible over the last few years. But I need to see either one or both of them. I feel like we need to go ahead right now and talk about Cooper Webb because I owe Cooper Webb an apology. Last week, 2 weeks ago, A1, I said, yeah, Cooper looked good and I know he podiumed, but everybody ahead of him fell and he got help and that's how he did it and blah, blah, blah. And I will be the first to admit when I got it wrong because this Cooper Webb that we saw this week was completely different. He qualified good, qualified great. The heat race he did well. The main event, he got a good start. He ran up front the whole night. He almost chased down Eli. It was close. It was a lot closer than Eli would have liked. And this wasn't a track that plays to his strengths. You know, you could say that about A1, that the track breaking down and all that stuff plays to Webb's strengths. This was not true this weekend. This weekend was about as neutral as I think you could get. The whoops were big but fair, blah, blah, blah. And he still went out there and put up another second. So, I mean, it's Tomac and Webb 1-2, 1-2. That's the fight. It's a bummer that, you know, Chase, Anderson, and Malcolm, I think all three of those guys we were really hoping were gonna fight for the title a little bit more, and all three of those guys have had at least one disappointing round, but I think they are all very disappointed with both of their round. You know what I mean? So I'm still worried about him seeing a good size set of whoops. I agree, Wamba, but I think these whoops were a good size of whoops. They were not death whoops, but I don't know how many of those we're gonna get. I think this was a good, nice little test. You know what I mean? The length of these team names, Zach, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I still stick to I know it is the Smart Tops, Bullfrog Spas, Moto Concepts Honda, but to me, it's just Moto Concepts Honda, okay? It's HRC Honda, it's Star Racing Yamaha, but I'm with you, I'm with you. Yo, Ron Dog, thank you so much for that super chat, $10 hashtag Webwagon. Are you all the way on board, Ron? It's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, I appreciate it. So bummed to see Chase, Mookie, and Ando all drop the ball tonight. Yep. And to be fair, I will say, out of those three, did they do a replay? Because I was setting up the stream, so I missed something. I might have missed it. Did they show a replay of what happened to Anderson, or did he just spin out on that flat turn, and then have, not be able to get the bike going because it looked like he stalled it? But I mean, I will give Chase. To be fair, his heat race crash was his fault, but the DNF was not his fault. And the main event was absolutely not his fault. That was a Barcia special if you've ever seen one. So I think Sexton gets absolved. This one was not his fault. But the other two, all of the crashes have been, it looks to be their fault. Volan, yeah, man, yeah. We'll get to Volan. RC saying Monster Energy Factory Yamaha Star Racing Machine every time gets old. But, well, Matt, what gets me, though? They will say every single syllable of Monster Energy Factory Yamaha Star Racing Machine, but they will not say OnlyFans Kawasaki. I need you to put some respect on Logan Carnow out here doing things, innovating, getting that privateer funding, and they won't even say his name on qualifying, on the pre-show. Just say it. Come on. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still mad about it. It's just the littlest things, man. Say it. Come on, Dan. Say it. Don't even get me started. I don't need to rant on that. ET3 running a 49.1. Gasky, what lap? Do you know what lap that was? I guess I can go and look stuff up, but he got TV time during qualifying. They did it, and Matt, it was last weekend too. Last weekend, not only did they not say it, he literally said like, "Oh, Logan Carnisle." What did he call him? He called him like the enterprising privateer has some very interesting, like he said so many words, like he danced, or he spent 2 whole sentences dancing around OnlyFans instead of just literally saying OnlyFans. He went so far out of his way. It was ridiculous. What happened to K94 in the heat? Looked like he was gassed, but showed up for the main. Can we just say Roxon looked incredible. I know he didn't get Barcia, and for me, I was like conflicted because I wanted Roxon to put that Suzuki on the podium so bad, but I also picked Barcia for my lead pipe lock in fantasy, and I need all the points I can get because that's the trophy. I want the Dirty Owl trophy for the expert picks lead pipe locks. So I was like, ooh, because Barcia, I think he would have lost 4 points if I would have lost that pass. So I was conflicted, but it was a great race either way. What do you think of Tomac? Colby, I mean, I look at Tomac kind of the same way I look at Jet, where I'm like, the only thing that can stop them is them. They're both in the zone. They're just, I mean, it's incredible. I don't think Tomac's going to go 17 for 17 or anything like that, but as long as he continues to get starts and minimize mistakes, and like I said last weekend, they have to capitalize on when Tomac does make mistakes, and so far he hasn't made many. He's made literally 1, and everybody else has made many. You know what I mean? Just saw it on the results sheet. Okay, Gasky, I'll check it out. Jet is going perfect. In Dirty Owl, I do think, I don't remember if it was Blair or if it was Hubbard or whoever it might have been, but somebody in the pre-show said he's not going perfect because Jet also has to do 2 East-West showdowns. And I'm like, that's a great point. And I'm not saying that they're going to be better competition than RJ McAdoo and that stuff, but like East-West showdowns are just wonky. And that would be where I would see him maybe losing one, is on the East-West showdowns. And it sucks because that's not fair, because back in the day, the days that, Ricky went perfect, there was no, like, the East West Showdown was an exhibition, it didn't count. So it kind of sucks that they have a higher bar to live up to. You know what I mean? His brother, yeah, Jet's brother. Chase, no, yeah, Muppet. Chase was so, that crash, I don't know how he didn't. Can we just talk about the difference? And I don't mean this in a negative way, but like the absolute luxury that Chase Sexton has, that he crashes as gloriously as we've seen like AC go down. I mean, hell, even like Freddie Noren and those guys go down, but there's something about Chase that he knows how to fall. I don't know if his knees are made out of a different material than the rest of us humans, but something about Chase, he will go down so hard and he will pop up like nothing happened. And I'm like, I have no idea how you continue to do this every single week. But Chase Sexton should have missed considerable amount of time to injury in his first 3 years. And so far, he's only missed a couple weeks. So good for him. It's ridiculous. I respect Anderson because he ain't never back down. That's the thing. And to be fair, I think the difference is where it felt like Jason was kind of trying to make an apology to Bam Bam in some certain way, but I don't think Jason has anything to apologize for here. That move was as clean as you can get. His wheel barely clipped Barcia's wheel. Barely clipped it. Like that was even if Barcia would have made that move, I would have defended it. If that was Barcia's pass on Anderson, I would have been like, I mean, there was some contact there, but that was definitely a nice clean pass that just had a little bit of rub to it. But yeah, so if Barcia was like legitimately angry at Anderson for that, get out of here. Get out of here. Chase is the American Gumby guy. Yeah, I think Forkner would have been riding over his head. I agree. Longer legs and Barcia stays up. True. That's true, Al. 100%. No way Ando's apologized. I just think, Michael, that I saw on Twitter, I think somebody said that Anderson waited up for Barcia after the heat race to be like, my bad. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Can you give my wife a happy 30th birthday? Happy 30th birthday to the ASND wife. Enjoy your 30s. They're better than you think they'll be. I promise. Barcia was just holding up Roczen and Chase. Justin, I would have liked to have seen. Do you guys think that Roczen could have had a podium if it was anybody but Barcia? And that's something that I think a lot of people underestimate. I mean, not that they underestimate about Barcia, but I would love to see. So I said this before last season, and tell me if you guys agree or whatever. But I loved having Vince Freeze in the 250 class last year because he was a perfect measuring stick to see if a guy is ready for the 450s or not. Because if you can't pass Vince Freeze, you are not ready for the 450 class. And that was the difference where, and I love Joe Shimoda, but I remember seeing Christian Craig would catch Freeze and pass him. No problem. Every race, he'd catch Freeze, he'd get right by him. But somebody like Joe, who I think is an incredible talent, he's one of my favorite riders, you would watch a guy like Joe, he would catch Freeze and he would tiptoe around him and whatever. And I'm like, if you can't even get Vince Freeze, who, again, with no disrespect, like he is a main event 450 guy that's right outside of that top 10. But if you can't get around Vince Freeze, you're not getting around Anderson or Barcia. I mean, you're not getting around Tomac or Webb or even Roczen. Like, so, and I think Barcia is like the final evolution of that like kind of guy. And I don't know, man, that's a skill in itself. You can't teach that. You know what I mean? What's up with Craig? Well, the thing I will say, I agree with you because I had Craig in fantasy and I expected more from him because last week he had a really bad start, and Craig, one of his strengths are his starts. And again, this week he didn't get the start. And so I wonder what Craig would have done with a better start. But with all of that being said, I don't know. I mean, I would like to have seen Craig do better, but at the same time, who of these guys does he beat? You know, like I think that he can on any given weekend beat Savacci, AP, AC, Ferrandis, but I don't expect him to beat any of these guys. Does that make sense? I expect him to he should beat Nichols, Hill, Wilson, McElrath, Chiz, Cartwright, etc. But I think that he's that kind of guy that he could get as high as 7th, but he could also get 12th or 13th, and it wouldn't be that wild. It's just that we have a very, I'm not going to say stacked up top. We have a very stacked 6 through 12 right now. So yeah, Craig getting 12th, or 11th, I was hoping for more, but once I saw the running order and I was like, is he going to get me any more points? And I was like, I don't think he is. Maybe he could pass Savachi, but I don't think he's getting the guys above that, you know. Bam and Ando got a war, and Ando deserves all the payback he takes. Ando deserves payback? I don't know about all that, Ben. Just rode around by himself. Yeah, Vic. Yeah. Should have retired. Sean, you stop that right now. You stop that. He wants his 450 clip. And what did he sign? I think he signed for 2 years with Rockstar Husky. And I will say, with all due respect to Craig, I don't know if Rockstar should re-sign him. By that point, he'll be what, 34? Maybe 33, 34, because I think he's 32. And with a lot of the 250 guys that are going to be coming into the class here soon, I don't know how you hold on to him if you want to compete. He obviously has marketability, which is worth something. Always worth something. That's why guys like Craig, AC, Malcolm, Dean, they will always have rides as long as they want to. Race. But I don't know. Oh, gotcha. Ando's taking it. Okay, I thought you meant he's getting his, if that makes sense. Anderson threw himself out of title contention. It's just, Payne, I agree with you. I think 2 rounds, it's too much to say throwing out a title contention. But I will say this is an Eli. This Eli is special. I mean, he's the same guy we saw last week, but that guy is special. That guy is special in some way. So I want to be like, no, he's not out. A lot can happen, blah, blah, blah. And I still think that's all true, but this Eli isn't making mistakes like we've seen Eli make before. It'll get better for Craig, but I always thought his ceiling was maybe a podium. Yeah, no, and again, Tiger, if Craig comes out, gets a great start, sprints away a little bit, I could see him getting a podium finish, but I think he would be happy with a top 5 or 2. I think that would be a good year for him. If Craig could finish top 8 in points, I think the team would consider that a win. Again, remember, there are 7 factory squads now. Now that Ken's on Suzuki, there are legitimately 7 factory squads. So if you get 8th in points, you are the first guy, second guy. You know what I mean? And that's a really impressive thing to bring. Would be interesting what J. Coop will do. Yeah, I'm up. That's a great point. Because Nichols, he did fall. I saw somebody ask. I don't know at what point, but he dropped 3 or 4 spots in 1 lap. So obviously Nichols had trouble. But it was disappointing because he was running, 2nd or 3rd right off the start. And the fact that he ended up 12th is a real bummer. Real bummer for those guys for sure. Stewart not being in the top 10 in points is heartbreaking. I know, Stone, I know, but I will say, for those of you guys that can pick him next week, he's now got to have a 0 or positive handicap. And Triple Crown, he should be good at. So if you manage to dodge Stewart both weeks, you're in a really good spot. You know what I mean? Can we take a second to praise PulpMX? Absolutely, Zach. Yeah, PulpMX is. Can I also just tell you guys? I'll share a little bit. It's not even that good, but I'll share some personal text with you. Not only is PulpMX's program incredible and Enzo Lopes is the real deal, but I just want to tell you that last night at, let me see what time, 8:35 on a Friday night, Mike Bonacci, who is he's the PulpMX guy that writes the PR. He's if you've been around their pit, you will see him. He's kind of the guy that's in charge of that. He's not the team manager, but he's in charge of a lot of the day-to-day stuff. And he texted me and said, "Are you attending any Supercrosses?" And I told him whatever, and he said, "Okay, I'm expecting a visit." So not only are they building an incredible program over there and their riders are doing well, but they literally are taking care of small media. He is the only person that does something like that to me. So like that. So I just want to point out that that whole program deserves all the praise that they can get. No more beating up on 250. You know what? I can't say anything. I can't say anything, Lawson. That's valid. You know what I mean? Enzo style. It is, Chris. And I don't know. So I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but when he let RJ by effortlessly, and I could just see that being a level of he doesn't want that fight. RJ is contending for a title. Lopes knows that he's not. So I could see RJ maybe wanting to just, or I'm sorry, Lopes just wanting to be like, yo, dude, you got it, whatever. I'm not going to keep it fighting this for a heat race win. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy to be here. But he also, I thought about what if he was aware, because the red flag was out for a minute, the cross flags and everything. And I was even telling the wife, I was like, are the announcers not going to mention that there's a red flag, like, or that there's red cross flags everywhere? Are we not gonna look? Are we not gonna? And then they finally did. So I feel like maybe he knew the red flag, or he saw something and maybe just kind of slowed up. But I'm not saying Lopes wins, because let's be honest, he has to go through Jet. And if anybody goes through Jet, I think it's more likely to be Cam or RJ. But Lopes 100% podiums, 100% podiums rounds this year. And that is so cool. You know what I mean? Top three are too far ahead, but if Lopes keeps putting himself in, yeah, I agree. Chase or Ando for third this year. Dang, Dan, we're already writing Coop into second. I think Chase. If I had to pick between those two guys. Yeah, right, Rich. Yeah, because I was like, do you guys see these red cross flags? Can we? And you know what sucks too? I saw Colby Kopp down in that corner the lap before, and I was like, and I said to her, I was like, oh, Colby Kopp's down. That was Colby, because I literally saw white bike, 3-digit number, looked over in the thing, found the Husqvarna with a 3-digit number. It was Colby Kopp, processed that, and then it took them forever to figure out the situation. And I was like, yo, it's Colby Kopp. He's down at the end of the whoop section. Like, I can tell you what's happening. What are you guys doing, man? Get me in there. Oh, was it liquid? Apparently gas is what they said. I heard someone got hit. Somebody got hit on track. If you could check your Instagram, I sent you a while back. Should be able to under the same name. I need your help. Sure, Andrew. I'll try to take a look at it. The race for so let's talk about Hunter Yoder. Blippi's favorite rider, by the way. That kid's so cool. He's so nice. I actually got to talk to him last year, and what a tough go for him. I know it sounds so dumb. Like, I know people were kind of clowning on how excited he was to win that LCQ, but don't forget that Hunter Yoder was the next in line to join the Geico Honda team. That team in 2020 had Jet, Hunter, Craig, Shimoda, McAdoo, and J-Mart. And they had Mumford turning pro that year. And then Yoder was next. So literally, Hunter Yoder was prepared to be Geico Honda, which at the time, let's be honest, was probably the premier. I know Pro Circuit is what we always want, like what we always think is being the best 250 team, but right around that era, like the Geico team was legit, and every single guy on that squad could win a race, and they have won a race since that squad shut down. And then for him to have literally no ride, to riding for that Ty Loop Honda team, which no disrespect to them, and now being on the PRMX team, like I'm just so stoked that even just to get that LCQ win has to mean the world to that kid, because he literally went from like being, having it paved to factory to having it all taken away instantly. You know what I mean? If Roxanne hadn't finished in the top 5, that's all everyone would be talking about right now. I agree, Sean. I don't even know what with Roxanne. I mean, he put himself in a good position with this Suzuki deal or what have you, that he looked great. He didn't fade. But I feel like if he was on a Honda, people would be like, why did he get 4th? But he looks better than he did last year. He's such an enigma. Like, I really like him, but he's just such an enigma. You know what I mean? I'm starting to think Sexton will never win a 450 championship, because Jet might overtake him by the time. Dirtbike, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not gonna disagree with you, like with like a hard stop, but I think there's definitely gonna be a learning curve to Jet. if he doesn't, like even the greats, like even Ricky, even Stu, Jeremy is really the only guy that had no growing pains into the 450 class. As good as Jet is now, he's going to have growing pains into the 450 class. So I think Sexton's going to have 2 or 3 more years before Jet definitely has it figured out. But I don't know, man. I don't want to hump Jet any more than the broadcast already does. But if somebody was going to come out and just become another McElrath level of just straight up winning races their first year, why not him, right? Thoughts on Barcia? Like Barcia on Sexton, um, I didn't like it. It wasn't the worst thing that's ever. I was gonna make sure they didn't dock him or anything. If he's still in third, I didn't think it was a terribly undone pass, but I don't know, man. How was that guy not just on lifetime probation? I guess I don't know. Jeremy used to have swing pains on the 125. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Dirty Out. That's true. Jets outdoor. Oh no, 100%, 100%. I'm not comparing their 250 careers. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't mean anything at all. Um, Jet is going to be great. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Complains when Anderson does it, but he does the exact same thing. I know. And Jackson in the exact same spot on the track, too. Like, not even hiding it at all. That was the exact same move on the exact same spot. I guess I'll just put this away for a minute until we get points uploaded or whatever. Barcia's Barcia. I mean, you can say love him or hate him, but that's not fair. We just want to know, man. Like, I know I said earlier in the thing, and I stand by it, that having Barcia in the sport is good for the sport. It's good for the fans. We need that kind of person, blah, blah, blah. But what could Sexton have done? I know that somebody is like, oh, and Anderson and Sexton are already out of the title fight. It's not Sexton's fault. It's not. It's literally not Sexton's fault. Both of his mishaps. To be fair, I mean, he laid himself down in that corner that got him run into. But the fact that he couldn't get back up and finish the heat race was a complete freak accident that was out of his control. You know what I mean? Barcia shouldn't be allowed to race in a pro race at this point. That's harsh. That's harsh. But I mean, hey, as long as people want to keep talking about him and people want to keep giving him money, he's gonna keep lining back up there. You know what I mean? He's only 15, and that's true, Nathan. He's only 15 points down. Don't call anything out yet. We are one Tomac away, and don't forget that Tomac's on a brand new bike. I don't want to put any bad juju on that star team, but hey, what if we just had a mechanical? We could just have a mechanical. Just something as simple as like, oh no, I mean, look at that freak accident with Sexton. Imagine something like that happens to Tomac in the main. It could be not even his fault, and all of a sudden we have a reset on the championship. You know what I mean? I hope I'm wrong, but man, if Sexton has to get that little bit more consistency, which means a few less mishaps. Yeah, I agree. Dirt bikes. I agree for sure. Sexton chokes indoors. Why? I mean, to be fair, Sunreal, he choked outdoors too. So I went back and edited. I don't know if you guys know or not, but I'm doing some work for Racer X and Pro Motocross, and I edited a video of every single pass for the lead for the 450 outdoors. And I know that you want to be like, oh, but why does Sexton choke indoors? Sexton lost that title last year, not to take anything away from how good Tomac was, but when I actually had to re-watch the entire Outdoor Nationals and watch every pass for the lead, the amount of points that Chase gave up on silly little things, just silly little tip overs or silly little this that just trickled away little points at a time. It's not always just the big one that is going to lose you a title. It was those little 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points here. And just like that, he lost the title, man. And that just sucks, you know? Starting to feel some 2004-06 era with Ricky James vibes with two dominant riders in both classes. Oh, for sure. It feels good, yeah. Have you ever seen a gas tank chrome? I have not, Andrew. I have not, no. Tomac can have two mechanicals and still win. For sure, I agree. He looks spent. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I need to see. I don't know, man. Webb looks good, and I hate to say it because I don't know. Like I don't. I just for me for whatever reason, Webb's late race charges are like anticlimactic for me somehow because it's that thing of like, oh, we'll just wait until the end. Webb will come back anyway. Like those 2 years of Webb titles just weren't exciting for me, I guess. Anyone else over Jet? Zach, literally everybody. But what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? The only difference between Jet and say Ricky, Pastrana, McElrath, etc., is we didn't have 24/7 social media. We only got the hour or two that the internet or that the television would dedicate to moto each week. So if imagine how tired of Travis Pastrana we would have been if Travis Pastrana would have came to be in the social media marketing etc. era that we're in now. Like we would have hated Travis Pastrana. So, you know, weird how we only get 3 West rounds to start. Cacti, we get well, to be fair, we should have had 4. I don't know why they did it this year. This year's schedule was really weird top to bottom, so I don't know. Webb wasn't coasting. He just couldn't catch Eli. I mean, to be fair, yeah, because that was the thing too. Is a lot. He did get a lot closer at the end, but Tomac knew. Tomac knew what his distance was. He wasn't gonna let that lead get low enough to be a concern. I don't think. I'm not sure if Webb can dogfight Tomac for a win. I think it'd be interesting. It would be interesting. I would love to see it. I would love to see. Thank you. I would love to see it, but I'm sad they took away Minneapolis round. I know, Joey. I know. They took away St. Louis too, which is one of my favorite ones to go to. So the difference is that Jet is golden. Oh, okay. Private, that biggest surprise privateer that made either main. That made just for making the main. Can I say John Short making both mains? I know he got dead last in both of them, but I'm a big John Short fan. He's just a really cool, nice, humble guy. But him making both mains has been really cool, especially for that Mad Parts Kawasaki team. They really deserve it for the program they put together. Cartwright making the main tonight was really cool. Starling going 2 for 2. I mean, hey, A-Ray getting in there. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? St. Louis is my race. Might go to Indy. Matt, you should. Indy is rad. I will say St. Louis is my favorite that I've been to. I haven't been to all of them, but St. Louis having that indoor pits is very, very clutch. But Indy is a very nice facility, very nice stadium. If you've never been, because Indy has the Indianapolis 500, their stadium is sponsored by Lucas Oil, like it's the Lucas Oil Stadium. So the whole stadium is themed with racing. It has drag, NASCARs and dragsters and all kinds of stuff. So it's a really cool thing if you're into motorsports. The CRF 450R fuel tank is titanium. Interesting. I feel super bad for Kate. Michael, same. I almost asked Kate if he wanted to come on the show. I don't want to promise anything I can't deliver, but I'm hoping to get some riders to come on and just call in for a real quick second. I don't want to go full on like Pulp Show with it. And I wanted to ask Cade, but after he launched the berm from qualifying position, I was like, no, I'm going to let that man enjoy. I'm going to let that man enjoy his night. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Does Kawasaki have a curse? I feel like all bad things happen with their prospects. It feels like they're becoming the new Honda. Honda is growing out of it, and Kawasaki's taking their place. You need to bring back the Las Vegas round. The problem, Skylar, is that they closed Sam Boyd Stadium. I heard that it still exists. But if you guys remember, 2020 was the first year where they swapped Vegas and Salt Lake in the order, where Salt Lake was the finale. The reason they did that is because the stadium actually was closing. So 2020 Supercross would have been the very last event at Sam Boyd Stadium. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and then they moved all the rounds to Salt Lake at the back end, so we never got that finale. But the problem just is there's nowhere to have it in Vegas. The new football stadium wants too much money. And what are you going to do? They might not have them there at all. Like, let's be honest. That Raider Stadium's so state-of-the-art. Do you really want to come in? Because you might notice that they also aren't having Monster Jam either. And Monster Jam finale was also in Vegas. I remember watching the pay-per-view. Did anybody remember watching the Monster Jam and the Supercross pay-per-views back in the day for the finale? But I remember watching that Monster Jam pay-per-view in Vegas, man. That used to be a cool event. You know, Dirty Al, I was thinking that when the World Supercross was in a couple soccer stadiums, and I was like, you know what, this size isn't great. Like, it's a little small. It's a little smaller, but it wasn't bad, and I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if we got some football or some soccer stadiums, because they also the view is decent. You know, like it's the setup for that kind of thing. Why do we need fans? Just do it in a field. Well, Andre, you see, there's this little thing called capitalism, and we need to make some money to pay these guys. I don't know if you saw, but they just raised the purse money, so they're going to have to make a lot of money to spend a lot of money. You know what I mean? So we'll get there when we get there. What do you think about Adam? Gio, can I just say that I am happy that Adam is going out there, doing the laps, logging top 10 finishes, but it has to be incredibly difficult for Adam, the competitor, to go out there and let these people pass him, literally hole shotting and just watching Eli go, Webb go, Barcia go, Roxon go, Sexton go as he moves his way backwards. But can Ricky and Lee and everybody else stop praising Adam, being like, well, Adam should be so happy with his 8th place finish. It's little baby steps. Man, drop that. Drop that nonsense. Adam wants to compete. He has the speed to compete, and he doesn't need your baby step pity. Like, that guy wants to be up there winning races, running for podium finishes, and it's got to just be demoralizing to go out and get a good start and do nothing with it. So, like, I know that he's just out there doing laps, but the way they kind of justify it, like he took 5 years off or something like that, is just so wild to me, man. I don't know. It just made me cringe every time, because they said it. I think they said it on the pre-show. They said it during his heat race. They said it during the main about just these baby steps, and it's like, stop, you know? That's all that matters. He leads laps, and sure, he wants to win, but he needs to build his base back up. Yeah, I know. We haven't had a must situation. Yeah, but Zach, did you hear Mookie, I think that was during the pre-show, say, I just can't thank. And I'm like, no, you can thank. You should thank. You're about to thank. That's not, finish the sentence. We got it. AC needs to just finish every race, no matter the place. I know, but, you know, he also wants to win. It just doesn't feel good. I'm sure you guys know it. Did any of my friends here, did you guys race as a kid? You know, like, I won everything when I was a kid. I won my first race ever. Like, I won state and everything. And it was even just going from 50s to 60s, like that little step up from literally winning everything on a 50. Like, if I didn't win, something went wrong. And then the 60s was just a whole different thing. It sucks, man. You don't enjoy not winning anymore, especially when you were used to winning a lot. You know what I mean? Just hopped on, but if you were talking about AC, he has to race himself back into race shape. Yeah, I know, Brad, but you all act like he took off 5 years or something. I don't know. I don't think it's that far gone. You know what I mean? Can't thank, especially his first title. Oh yeah. I can't thank and never finish the saying. Mookie was raised on the previous guy saying it, so he literally probably doesn't understand the actual phrase. I never thought of that. I never thought about that, Drew. Like, how many of them are just repeating what they've heard forever? Like, how many of the writers that do the, like, oh, I just got to give it up to the Lord, like, is part of their things? My favorite ever is go watch the Lorettas, and when they're interviewing, like, some 9-year-old, and then they're like, how was your race? And he's like, good. What do you think happened out there? I got the whole shot and it was good. Do you have anybody you want to thank? Yeah, I want to thank Cobra. I want to thank Bill's Pipes. I want to thank this, Fox Racing, 100%, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, Jesus. Like, they just have it nailed. Like, they literally have they can't even put together like 3 words, but as soon as they say, who do you want to thank? And they're like, bam, 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 bam. Like, they've got that thing memorized. It's ridiculous. I love the kids. No, Dirty Owl. It's seriously cool, but I just laugh every time where I'm like, is he going to nail the sponsors? Is he going to nail the list? If we're being honest, some of the pros could take notes from from these kids because they got it. You know what I mean? The Lord thing came from Marine Cross back in the day. Brad, it's always just one of those where it's funny that they're always the first ones to give it up to the Lord when they do well, but they're also, and I'm like, well, but they're like, well, he just had different plans for, or, you know, whatever. And I'm like, what about when you wrecked, though? Was that his plan, too? Anyway. What happens to Max? Andrew, nothing. I don't think nothing. Like, that obviously sucks, but other people, like Oldenburg, I know that's a different level, but Oldenburg missed a main last year. It happens. It's not good. But I think it's fine, man. He's got some speed. Stuff happens. Things happen. Love your backdrop. Is that 90s? It is. It is. This is 90s cycle news. This is what I grew up on, was 90s. I didn't have cable. I raced with my dad. I go to my dad's house on the weekend. We didn't have cable. What I had was, and we never had the most recent cycle news. My dad would always buy the back issues for like 50 cents a piece or whatever. So from like 94 to like 99 was like my big cycle news era. So there's some stuff up here from other eras, but that's where a lot of it's from. Max went on. I think the thing though, RJ, because we might have talked about this before, but the thing is that KTM needs to have somebody else in the pipeline, and I don't know who they would rather have. They don't think they have anybody like that they have themselves groomed, but even if they were gonna go get somebody, who else would they want? Who else could they go and get that would be better? You know what I mean? At least Mookie did. Ben, he did do a little flip. It was close. It's close. I hate it for Mookie. I was hoping he would have had speed. I know, Andrew. I know, man. It just sucks. It's just got to be so demoralizing. The new studio, well, for sure, Mike. Well, to be fair, this is something that I built for this, where the last one, that was just my office. That was literally just my office, and that's where the camera was set up, and I did my best to put stuff back there. But this time, when we just moved, I literally designed, like, I put my desk where it is to fit this so that I would have like a spot for it. You know what I mean? Also, somebody asked me for about the announcers like 2 or 3 times, so I want to hit that. It's same as last year. I don't care. If I'm being honest, I don't care. I'm over it. I'm sure there are 100 people that would be better at it, and there's 100 people that would be worse. Every time we complain about, like, I remember everybody hated Ralph until they got rid of Ralph, and now everybody's like, Ralph was so good. And same with Emig, and I feel like once we get rid of Lee and Ricky eventually, we'll probably have the same honeymoon phase with them. So I'm indifferent. It doesn't really matter to me. Oh, yeah, Tom Vial. No, I don't think he does better. Not as a true rookie that has so little Supercross. I mean, he could do about the same, but I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better. You know what? That's fair, Joey. Lopes going to KTM, but I don't know if that's. I could see Lopes being loyal to club. Obviously, a factory ride's a factory ride, but I don't know. That's an interesting one, Joey. I would like to see that. Does anybody remember when JGR gave Lopes a shot? JGR has had so many good riders, and they just never had them at the right time. You know what I mean? There will never be another Art Ekman, and there's nothing we can do about that. No one will miss Lee. I don't mind Lee. I don't know what the problem with Lee is. The worst part for me with Lee is that he doesn't always nail their names. I don't remember which one he did today, but I'm like, that's not his name. But anybody could do that. Oh. Dave Despain. No, that's fair. Give me Dave. Give me Art Ekman and Dave Despain. That's what I want for any 2 wheels. Any 2 wheels, please. It's Alex Hodges. That's what it is. See, you got it, Alex Hodges. And I was like, his name is Axel, and you better put some respect on his name because he is like really important in the monster community. So you better get something. God, yeah, Todd Endo, Todd Monster Cross, Todd. I don't want to say who said it, but I'll just tell you that somebody that works for the production team told me that Todd Harris hates it when we bring up the time that he said Monster Cross. So I'm not telling you should say Monster Cross every time you see Todd, but I'm just letting you know that that's apparently a thing that Todd doesn't like. I bet Thury wishes he was still at club. Well, Michael, I don't think he left club willingly. No offense to Thury. I think that there wasn't room for him because they were bringing in J-Mart on the 250s. So, Sexton and Malcolm. River, we've talked about it. It's a bummer that those two and Anderson all are already so far, and they're not out of the title hunt by any means, but it's a bummer. All 3 of those guys, I think, really came into the season having title aspirations, and through either their own fault or somebody else's, they're not in it anymore, and that's a real bummer, you know what I mean? James Stewart and Blair. See, no, I will agree. I don't remember who it was, but somebody on Twitter brought up that with the Arena Cross. How many of you guys watched the Arena Cross last weekend when all the Supercross guys went because Oakland got canceled? That had 2 previous racer, which are like color commentator types, and it's not great. You need somebody that is a trained play-by-play professional, like Ralph, like Lee. There is something that there is just something special about that kind of person, like them or not, that they have the extra something. They have that extra sauce. You know what I mean? So as much as it would be so cool, I just feel like Ricky and Stu in the booth, for example, would just be up there broing. They'd just be up there broing down. They'd be talking in a way that wouldn't really be as like the level of energy. You need this level of energy from your play-by-play guy, and I just don't think that the riders typically kind of have that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? The game of ground has a certain element. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Weege. Everybody's saying Weege. Obviously Weege. But he has so many other things on his plate. I just don't... Like, guys, you know, you guys probably don't know. I know how much Weege does, and it's an incredible amount. Because he's directly who I report to for the Racer X things. And, yeah, he does so much. He does so much already. Time off the bike, get to AC. Well, I don't know, Andrew, because you say the time off the bike, but he's been on the bike for a while. I just think that he's not. I think he's purposely trying to not put pressure on himself. And who knows who knows, like his injuries might not be 100%. He might never be 100%. Again, those injuries pile up. So, I'm hopeful that we will get more. You know what? I just want to, can we get far enough through the season that I can take my wife to see AC? Because she's never seen him ride. It looks like points might have updated. Nope, that's last week's. So, and I would like to talk to him. I haven't been able to talk to him yet. So, where did Tomac start? Andre, he had a good start. He was in the top 5. He almost had, like, out of the gate, he looked like he might have whole shot, but he didn't. But he had a good start again. Barcia versus Anderson. We went over that too, but just short one, nothing. It was barely contact. I think Barcia could have possibly avoided that with just a little bit of luck even. So nothing for me on that. I think that was just is what it is. AC has asked Roxon for his exercise format. Yeah. MXGP, no, I think Tomac's ready to move on, Aaron. I really do. And it's one of those, like, where, like, now that he has, he has a wife, he has a kid, he has other things he wants to do. And, he hits 30. I don't blame the guy for wanting to go live his life. And I don't think anybody else can blame him either. It doesn't always have to be anything big. Also, we have results. So all of the fantasy results are now official. So if you want to refresh your screen, good buddy Travis Mark sent me the text that we're good to go. So you can pull it up and check it out and see what's going on. Some extra stats from Mark's. We had 22,711 teams. That is so many teams. That is so many. 10,794 paid teams. Only 9,241 teams had all 8 guys in the main event. 41%. So 59% of teams were already at a 0, and that's not even factoring in Kitchen All-Star going down in the first turn. Malcolm getting 6 points, whatever. So a lot of stinky scores this weekend. Man, 139 people picked AC for the FFL. That's a ridiculous number. That's a lot. It's crazy. Is Kitchen okay? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, Andrew. I'll definitely, I mean, Steve will probably let you know before I will, because I'll probably get my update from Steve on that. But yeah, it looked rough. I got to go and look at the only thing that matters, the admins league. Yeah, look at that, baby. Suck it, experts. Up there. You know what this is called right here? You know what this lead is called? This is called the 8 is Great program, and y'all should get on it. Because if you want to know what this is picking big guys. So Dan has had some rough. Look at this, 19,000th place. This right here was this. Come on. This, nah. The rest of it might be a little bit of bad luck, but give me the 8 is Great team. I know, Dirty Out. I was literally telling RotoWife, I was like, I really want Roxon to pass Barcia right now because I want him to put that Suzuki on the podium. But Barcia's getting 42 points right now, and I think I'm the only one that took him as my lead pipe lock, so I really want him to maximize it. Went from 16,000 to 37. Nice round. Ken looked like he was riding a jet ski. No, Brad, you know what? I thought the same thing. From the front, it looks, and it doesn't look wide from any other angle. And I want to say it doesn't look wide when anybody else rides it, but maybe we just haven't seen, we don't get to see the Suzuki very much because there's never a reason to put it on TV. But no, from the front, the Suzuki looks massive. It's definitely crazy. Craig just don't like that Austrian bike. That might be true. I don't know. Malcolm seems to be working it through the whoops. So Craig also, like we talked about, I just think that that's where he is. He is that second tier guy where if he got 8th, I'd be like, yeah. And if he got 14th, I'd be like, yeah. Roxon bike did look softer than A1 though. I was there and it looked so stiff. That's fair. Yeah, I haven't been able to pay that much attention to it, but that I know that I want to say that he only had 12 days on the bike. Ken did. So yeah, like he's gonna get better. I think he's gonna get better. Yeah, Aaron, can we talk about Shane McElrath really quick? Everybody wants to talk about hitting the panic button on Voland and AC and everything else. McElrath, is it time to maybe hit the panic button on Shane? Because his qualifying wasn't good, and I know he should have been in through the heat, but he wasn't. And then the LCQ was a little shaky at times, and his main event wasn't great. And I want to say it's the bike, but at the same time, the tail end of Shane's outdoor was not good as soon as he swapped. Who did he end up? Was that the club bike that he went to? Not good. And we know that bike is fine. But yeah, the tail end of McElrath got 16th. The tail end of his outdoor in this year has not been good. And obviously Shane, this is where I put him. I think he's behind Dean on most weekends. but he probably should beat Chiz, and then he definitely should beat these other guys. I think Hill could finish behind Shane, but yeah, like, I don't know, man. 16. No, and it's not awful. That's not what I mean, Cacti. But like looking at his stats from last year, I don't think I have them readily available. But no, I don't have them readily available. Shane last year was more of a 10, 11, 12 guy. Now, with that being said, the field was thinner. Webb wasn't doing as good. Savachi was out. Roxon was out for half the year. You know, so maybe that's not fair, but still. Kenny looks so comfortable and confident. Yeah, he really did, though. He really did. Digging your show. Andrew, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I try to do it every week. I can't promise every single week. Also, before I forget the plug, we do have a Patreon. If you're a fantasy player, I do a podcast for exclusive to the Patreon, in addition to the cheat sheets, the enhanced cheat sheets, which I can show you in case you want to see it. It has, if you're a numbers guy, it's a ton of numbers, but I try to give you only stuff that you can actually use. So for example, these are their averages from last year. I will switch it to this year after the next week, but these are the averages from last year. And then I put like how, are they typically finish better or worse than their qualifying? Do they tend to pass people or get passed in the main events? Like these numbers is how often do they finish above their current handicap. So it's a lot of numbers, but they're all actually useful, and I try to explain them. But anyway, in addition to that, this month we're giving away for patrons. I have a Colt Nichols jersey we're giving away this month. So it's $5 a month, bottom tier, to enter a raffle to get a Colt Nichols jersey. And if you play fantasy, you also get some stuff with it. But mostly you can just consider it a raffle if you want. It's fine. Ken was almost, he was almost podium. He should have been, I think if it was anybody but Barcia in front of him, he would have podiumed. He would have got around him. But hey, man, that's one of the things Barcia has going for him, is you have to definitely know that you can get by him and gap him. And not just that, but Kenny is one of the most timid riders around. We saw Webb really bully him, really bully him. So I don't think that, I don't think he wanted any of that smoke. He was completely content just riding that thing into fourth. So, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had a Suzuki. I had a 2015. That was my most recent bike. I guess it's been almost 2 years ago since I sold it. But like, yeah, man, that bike is still more than any of us can handle. It's so good. You know what I mean? Is Kenny third in points right now? Let's find out. He's in fourth. No, Sexton is still third with a 3.5. Roxon has a 5.4. Dylan's 4.6. Oh, man, Malcolm all the way down there in 15th. Malcolm is already 37 points out of the lead. That is ridiculous. Yo, Endo, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Just supporting. I appreciate it. Really, I do. Thank you. I feel like they need to do better with the dead air time. Drew, to be fair, they can't predict red flags, and we don't have them that often in our sport, but I agree with you. I wouldn't be mad if they had something pre-recorded for those elements, but you know what I really need? How many of my Peacock viewers in chat? That little song they play while the commercials are showing to the cable viewers, and it just says like coverage will begin soon or stream will resume shortly or whatever it is, literally puts me to sleep every single time. It is the most awful thing ever. And then if it's not that, they're giving me that Stasic commercial, and I don't know why. I don't know if any of you guys have it, but I have a Beagle, and he absolutely hates that little Stasic sound at the very beginning. He does his Beagle howl every single Stasic commercial, and it's the worst thing ever. The music gets sleepy. It is literally sleepy it makes me sleep so bad. I am sitting there zoning out to that freaking stream will be back shortly. It is the worst, man. It is so bad. You can X out of the commercials as soon as they come up. Can you? Can you? Okay, I haven't even tried it. I just have the Gypsy Tales companion on in the background. I just hate it because I need to have the actual broadcast on to do like a lot of the job. So I can't do that, but I wish I could sometime. How do you think Muskin would have gone? Jackson, I think he would have been right there with the Savachi, Craig, Plessinger, that 9 through 12 right here, these guys. I wouldn't be surprised to see Marv battling it up, in that 5, 6, 7 range, but I think that healthy this year, most of the time he's going to end up around there, you know what I mean? Peacock makes me yeah, that music is rough, dude. It really is. When the circle with the time comes up, close the feed, then open it again, and it's gone. Look at you. Al, changing my life. One life hack at a time. We need the Burger King commercial. That sound is so annoying. No, why would I want that? Oh, I see. You mean the Peacock. I thought you meant the Burger King commercial. I'm like, I don't want that at all. Oh, I think Husky should not have gotten rid of Dino. Nah, Joey, I don't know. I think the reason that they got rid of Dino, he could retire at any moment. And if they wanted to sign somebody for 2 years, Dean probably isn't trying to race 2 years. I think this is going to be his last year. But B, I think Craig is a great substitute for Dino. They both have incredible social media followings. They both are relatively popular riders. They know how to entertain a crowd like that. They're hard workers. If nothing else, they take their work seriously. So I think that Craig is a really natural fit on that team as far as having the fun-loving, good-natured guy that will do any commercial you want. So I think it was a really good one, Am I bummed that Dino lost the ride? Of course, because he's just a really, really nice guy, but it is what it is, Does Craig have a shot at a top 5? Oh yeah, Steve. I think that he gets a top 5 this year. I mean, I think that's the thing. I'm not gonna go out on that limb and say we have 6 race winners in here or something, but I would be shocked if we already have 7 people finish or 6 people finish in the top 5. Anderson does it, AC does it, Plessinger does it. I mean, hell, Nichols almost did it. Obviously, Malcolm's going to do it. But I think that we could legitimately have, I think the top 12, Malcolm and Marv. So I think 14 people end up in the top 5. So I think Craig could absolutely do one of those. You know what I mean? How many Honda guys did Roxon beat this race? He beat Nichols. Were there any other Hondas in the main? Yeah, Dean. Nichols and Dean. Yeah, just Nichols and Dean. So 2. He also beat 2 Suzukis. He was the last guy from the Bobby Hewett era. That's true too. That's true too, Aaron. That is true. Yeah, he's old regime for sure. Craig needs to get back to start. The problem though, Toe, is that they don't have room for him, and if we're being honest, they probably don't really want him. No offense to him, but they want to win championships. If we can say anything about Star, they are completely out on the marketability thing. They don't care how big of a personality you are. They want to win the title, and Craig is not going to win them a title. So when Eli leaves, because Dylan is still a massive threat. I think we forget because he missed the year. Dylan is still, with Tomac gone, how do you not put Dylan as a co-favorite with Sexton for the outdoor title for this year? But so they have a guy that can do the outdoor. When Tomac leaves, they are going to go shopping, and they are going to, like, they want Anderson, or they want, I know they're not going to get Jet, but they want somebody. So we'll see, Look at his perfect technique. He's going to be the guy to challenge Tomac to, can he contend for a podium? No, Drew, he can contend for a podium. Like, he should have had 2 podiums if Barcia didn't take him out. Like, that's ridiculous. You stop that right now. Thrasher is going to step up. I agree, Dirty Al. I think Thrasher is going to do it for sure. Man, I wish Levi or Styles could catch a break, but they both have had awful luck this year. And I feel like they both have a lot to prove. And I feel like being over there at that squad is gonna, I feel like they're gonna chew you up and spit you out. And they're gonna have a lot of guys burn out over there, you know. He won't last. Well, to be fair, Skyman, Craig is already in his almost mid 30s. Like, I don't think he wants to stay. I give Craig 2 or 3 years. You know, kind of like Amart of the I just want to go and ride the 450 for once. I feel like Craig is gonna run out his 2 years at Rockstar, maybe do another year, but like he's good, man. They got money over there. I'm so sick over Levi. Toe same. It's just not fair. None of this is fair. Have bicycle loss. But again, I'm Joey, I'm gonna give them a cut because you're not wrong, but Styles was down in the first turn last week and Phil beat him by 1. And poor Levi, where did he end up? Yeah, like that's not his fault. Okay, Levi's, I'll have to watch the crash back. Also, by the way, I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm not gonna be showing any more broadcast footage in any video. I can't really get into it, but I am not authorized to do that. So sorry in advance that we can't go back and rewatch things, but yeah, Levi's crash looked too much like Forkner's crash to me and how it went down. And I don't know if we need to change something on the start. I know that there were comments on my Forkner video about we need to get rid of hole shot devices. I don't know what it is. But those first turn crashes are gnarly, dude. Like Levi got ragdolled, like absolutely ragdolled, and I just hope that he's not out for a long time because that poor kid only made it through one race last year too, you know. 4 or 5 before we get our title contenders, but this season already feels like Tomac. Oh, I agree, Wreckfest, 100%. It's Tomac's title to lose right now. You know what I mean? I do think the whole shot devices. I agree, Al. I tried to look at the Levi, but I didn't watch it other than the replay they showed on TV, and I don't think the whole shot device was what hurt Levi. It could have definitely lent to it, but that crash was just crazy, you know. It was a real special one. Feels like with whole shot device, the front wheel remains in the air longer. Yeah, it does for sure. Like you literally saw Forkner not be able to do it, you know. RJ, yeah, no, for sure, Andrew. I hope that he can put it together. The same reason I've talked about on the fantasy about me not picking RJ and Cam is I think they're both incredibly talented. I think RJ looks really good this year. Maybe it's the Baker's factory. It probably is. But I just want him to, more than anything, I want him to finish all 9 rounds. I think that's important for him, you know? Can we talk, what about Anderson doing the running starts? Hey man, whatever he wants to do, if it works, you know? Mookie won't have a ride. And Sky, man, you stop it right now. It's 2 rounds in. Who are they gonna get instead? You know what I mean? I knew Jet was gonna win in the 250s. He looks so good. Oh well, Moto, yeah, he looks. It's almost crazy that they'll show him for like maybe a couple laps beginning, and then we just stop watching him. Like I feel like nobody else is going to win or is going to be as dominant as Jet's probably going to be this year and have this little of TV time because there's just literally no reason to watch him when he's so far out every time. The rolling start, I know that there is a roll Jackson, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. Was there a Misty Rider at Star? Aaron, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember, no. Maybe they never went with anything. They might already have something worked out for next year, but I don't know. It was a Spanish guy. Oh, was it Faris? Faris? Had a moat with crocodiles around the start gate. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Ferris or Forest. I can't remember. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But I'm gonna get off of here, guys. I'm sorry. This West Coast thing kills me. I'm East Coast. It's 2:15 in the morning, and I've been doing I've been doing Supercross for 13 hours now. So I am ready to go eat and wind down and do some bedtime stuff. So thank you guys so much for doing this with me. We will do that. We will continue to do this every round as long as I'm able to. I'm gonna have a couple races that I'm gonna be going to. For St. Louis last year, I had enough good cell reception that we actually did the post-race show from the pits, which was really, really cool. So hopefully I can do that. But if I can't, then obviously it should be every weekend except for if I go to the race. But thanks as always for being here. Subscribe, like, whatever if you want to. Love it if you hit me up on Patreon. I got a jersey for you for a raffle. But otherwise, man, I just appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night and a good rest of your weekend.